Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and I had a lot of requests for a deck list for my silly deck that I was playing on stream the other day, which, by the way, that was probably the funniest stream we've ever done. I was just having so much fun just trolling people in Mythic with this dumb deck, and it kept winning, too. And even when it didn't win, it was, like, ridiculously annoying the whole game, so that's why the title of the stream was Trolling People in Mythic with Stupid Decks, or whatever I named it. So I've revised it a little bit. I updated it. I haven't used this thing since I think like Ravnica Allegiance or Alliance. You'd think I'd know by now. Whatever it is, when that was released. So I updated it a little bit. Yeah, this takes like a billion wild cards, but I mean, you could build this with 100% like gates or like the welcome deck lands and you'd be fine. So also this isn't a terrifically, like hard list. Like you could basically swap out a couple things if you think, oh, it might work better with this. Yeah, probably. I mean, I haven't tested this that much, but today I ran a couple games in Mythic League with it and I think I won like 75% of them. I mean, I'm not saying this is like the end all deck. It's like the most powerful deck ever and this is going to win the meta, but you can have some fun with it. So for the couple of you out there who thought it would be hilarious to build this, you are absolutely correct. Just don't expect to get like massive wins with it or anything. So we got Revitalize, which is, just delay and draw. I mean, I just love that art. All the arrows are flying over his head and he's just having some, what is it, Pepsi Crystal or something? I don't know. Whatever he's drinking. And then we got Disdainful Stroke. Cool. I mean, you can only counter a spell with converted mana cost 4 or greater, but that's the only ones you should honestly care about with this deck. Anything lesser probably can't kill you. There are exceptions like Steel Leaf Champion. Then we got Search for Azcanta, just because you need that ongoing fixing like for the whole game. And I mean, you can see this is already 63 out of 60. I cannot cut something out of this. I can do it. So I mean, maybe a divination and a land to get it to 61, but even then. Anyway, yeah, this, you guys know what this does. I mean, duh. Then we got Drover the Mighty. You know what? Screw it. There we go. 3/3. That honestly is a more important card and it costs less. Then we got Drover the Mighty. You got to have a little bit of ramp here. I mean, yeah, he could get blown up, but if he draws a lightning strike, that's fine. Then we got Gleaming Barrier. This should be in almost every deck. This thing is crazy. It stops red. I mean, I wish there was a redundant version of this that was just as good. And I wish I could fit more than 3 in the deck. But yeah, this will shut down any kind of creature deck for like 1 turn or more. I mean, it's a 0/4 defender for 2 colorless. So if your mana screwed, okay, there you go. And then when it dies, you get a treasure. A 1-time single-use ramp card. I mean, there you go. Then we got Divination. Just draw 2 cards straight up. Don't have to put any back. No conditions. I mean, Chemisters cost 1 more. That's actually a lot in this deck. You want to use the draw and like the search to get a land, because you really want to dump out up to 7 lands. So we got Conclave Tribunal. I mean, it could just as well be Ixalan's Binding. It almost should. I mean, this one's more flexible, but name jamming it would be cool. You know what? Screw it. We're doing it. There's like no creatures in this deck. So there we go. I love how I'm changing this on the fly. That's how much I care about this. 1, Settle the Wreckage. I mean, they know you have it. That's why it used to be 3 and I'd put in 2 Cleansing Novas instead. Then we get into the creatures. Okay, Hexproof, and it cannot be blocked by black creatures. So it is double green. I don't like that, but you can tell there's a reason they did that. It's because they wanted to make this harder to play in a 3-color deck, and they succeeded. So this is why the mana base is the way it is. Cleansing Nova, because just blow everything up, cool. I mean, this is the only way to accidentally blow up your own hexproof creatures, so I don't love it, but you could take out a bunch of enchantments and stuff, which would nuke Ixalan's Binding and Search for Azcanta. So once again, I don't love it. It'll take out a barrier, though, which is hilarious. But if you're losing, and this deck can come back. So, whatever. Then we got Teferi, because, card draw, the emblem, the threat, takes the heat off of your life total. I mean, even for a turn, bounce something back to hand, whatever. I mean, the card draw and the untap is utterly ridiculous. Then we got Coldwater Snappers. So he's a Hexproof 4/5 for 6. Definitely overcosted, but I mean, it's a 4/5. These things are dangerous. Then Carnage Tyrant, because duh, another Hexproof creature. Trample Hexproof and can't be countered. I mean, that's nice. I'm tempted to put in 1 more of these than Coldwater Snappers. Yeah, I should add 1. That's worth a mythic. Let's craft it. There we go. I guess that's why I didn't do it. But anyway, Angler Turtle, this one's hilarious. I would almost want to put in more, but he costs 7. So he's a 5/7. I mean, that is game ending. And Hexproof, duh. And then creatures your opponents control attack each turn of Fable. which is hilarious. If you played when Bident of Thassa was legal, you know what I'm talking about. So let's get into the mana base. Well, actually, first let's just say, okay, so it draws stuff, blows stuff up, removes it, delays, crosses your fingers, hope you last this long. It doesn't always do very well against mono red, but hey. And then like this'll wreck them. Nothing in the deck can be targeted, which is hilarious. If you can race to one of these, I mean, it has a high mana count, so if you go first, you could win. I have beat mono red with this. It's just hard to do. Then we got, just the top end, and none of the creatures could be targeted. So it has, I hate this new interface, 19 creatures, 7 instants, 5 sorceries, 3 artifacts, which are creatures, 6 enchantments, and 1 planeswalker, and then 25 land. And they removed the land percentage. You have to do it with a calculator now. That's so stupid. And look at the mana curve. It's just a disaster, but this deck is just a fun deck. So we got 3 plains, 2 islands, 2 forests. This seems to be about right. I mean, you could probably honestly... No, that really does seem to be about right. Then we got Glacial Fortress, Hallowed Fountain, Sunpetal Temple, Hinterland, and then 3 evolving. Honestly, just throw in whatever the hell you got. I mean, like, these aren't even probably the right ratios. I just don't have 4 of all these. So that's the deck. Let's just get to some gameplay. All right, got this at 2x, but yeah, this is a pretty good opening hand. You got Ramp, you got Gleaming, you got 1 Disdainful, which is nice later. This guy is the slow player to end all slow players. I mean, remember, this is 2x. Then we got the Settle, but we don't have the second white for Settle. So, I mean, this deck's so damn slow. You pretty much just start with 3 or 4 lands, and then the rest of it doesn't matter. So there's the Ramp, and 27 years later, this guy's going to actually do something, which is great. But it was nice to top deck the Divination, because that means next turn I can draw just anything. Probably more lands would be nice, and regardless, the Gleaming's going down to dominate combat. So it looks like he's playing some kind of Dimir nonsense. If he starts ripping my hand apart, that would kind of suck. But I just top decked a Vine Mare, so now I've got an untargetable 5/3. I made sure to tell him how nice that is, that I'm, 4 turns away from lethal now, and he can't do anything to stop it with this deck. I mean, in those colors, what is he going to do? River's Rebuke? I mean, I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there is something. I just can't think of it. So he takes 5 to the face, and I've got a 0/4 blocking. I mean, there you go. Like, the Siren's not even a problem, because I don't have an Ixalan's Binding, and even if I did, I'd probably target the Siren. He turns into a 2/1. That's what that guy does, so that's cool, but I have a 0/4, so I don't care. We got a Carnage Tyrant and a Turtle in hand, so pretty perfect curve. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. There's a land, which is nice. I paid the 2 life so that I can get out Carnage Tyrant. Now the pressure is very much on. I mean, he's stuck at 2 lands. This is like such a bad game, but this is like the deck working perfectly. Also, it's the first game I recorded by sheer coincidence. So I'm like, okay, whatever, who cares? And I double block, which it turns out was actually a mistake, because he flashes in Dire Fleet and grants that Death Touch, I guess, because it died. He actually does 1 damage to each and kills both, but whatever, I've got a turtle. It's not the end of the world, and then I hit him for 5 and he's got 5 left. Like, what is he possibly going to do? So even in, drastic mistakes like that, and then I've got to settle on top of it and a Disdainful. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So he sits there for 27 more years and goes to microwave a Hot Pocket, I assume. Swings for no apparent reason, bounces off the turtle. Oh, that's right. No, that thing has a Death Touch permanently, but I just didn't care. So there we go. I knew I could counter swing with the Vine Mare, because what is he going to do? Cast down it? Probably not. He counters it, and then that's lethal. So I think that's a pretty perfect game, honestly. So yeah, his deck stalled out. He did some tricks, whatever, and I still won. I mean, I wouldn't expect to win a ton with this deck. It's just fun to run, and it wins enough. And you can sideboard against almost anything. So this is like a best of 3 style deck, but I haven't had problems playing in a best of 1. I think I won in free play a little over 50%. And in Mythic, I mean, out of like 8 matches, I won 6. Yeah, against any kind of slow deck, this just wins. I mean, they could literally, I had this happen. Light off Teferi's Emblem. Great, I'm going to keep swinging. You still can't target my hexproof creatures. So, I mean, the only thing that stops this deck is extreme speed, which is obviously a problem, or Kaya's Wrath, I mean, I guess River's Rebuke, a mountain of, like, Essence Scatters, Cleansing Nova, and, like, I mean, there's other board wipes that, like, nobody plays. But that's it, and then the rest of the deck is just a bunch of draw crap, so it's like, Cool, draw, control, settle, board wipe yourself, and then just get out another giant hexproof creature. It does get shut down by stuff like Ghalta, but not necessarily, because you might be able to exile it or trick it into a settle or counter it when it comes out. I mean, even if they had a Carnage Tyrant, cool. If you have one, that's cool too. Or if you have 2 turtles, that'll kill a Carnage Tyrant. So it ends up being interesting. You can build this however you want, like I said, but this is just my version of it. Hopefully you enjoyed this hilarious video and this hilarious gameplay. And if you are interested in seeing one of my live streams, they're very unpredictable, and I never announce them on social media because I basically don't use social media. But hit that notification bell because I've learned to manipulate it so that you get the notification at least 95% of the time. So it should work, and over the next like 3 or 4 days, I'm going to be playing this deck like crazy because it's just so silly and stupid and fun, and I'm already a Mythic, so I don't really care what happens. So watch for that. I'm probably going to be streaming like a lot in the next couple days just because. Until the leagues reset, I really don't care if I win my matches. So check that out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.